In the headlines, farming communities relocate to safer places as floods wreak havoc. People's Democratic Party calls emergency meeting over governors, others gang up. Banks suspend international transaction on Naira debit cards. And on the foreign scene, Russia-Ukraine exchanged nearly 300 prisoners in surprise swap. Hello and welcome to Trust TV News Update. I am Ibrahim Yusuf. Hello and welcome once again. We begin in Jigawa State, where hundreds of people across farming communities are currently fleeing to safer places as flash floods continue to wreak havoc on their houses and farmlands. Trust TV correspondent Idris Jibrin reports that in many places, residents are using wooden boats to cross over to the next community. The report.
Road is broken, communities inaccessible, as residents resort to these uncertain methods of reaching their villages. Each person pays about 200 naira to cross over.
We have a wooden boat that used to carry 30 people. There is the one that used to carry 24 people, but my own used to carry only 4 people.
Many are taking refuge in a nearby filling stations. Schools have also been converted into refugee camp. They say the water has destroyed virtually everything they have and have been struggling for over 10 days to come to terms with the situation.
Government officials have asked us to evacuate our families from this place to Hadija and nearby communities that are not affected by this flood. Even the State Emergency Management Agency officials that came here, they say we should all evacuate our families. Like you can see, everything is gone here and we are moving our families away from this village.
Hundreds of youth are also out on the streets of Hadija, Auyo, and Krika Samma local government areas of the state to collectively block the waterways from expanding to other communities. But they say the situation is beyond their control.
The rich people in Hadija local government and also government officials have given us money to buy sand and also wood that will help us to block the waterways. And we have been carrying it. In fact, I was among the people that carry the wood and the sand that we are using now in blocking these waterways.
Across many communities in Jigawa State, residents can no longer access their homes. There is little or no medical facilities, not even a bed or mattresses for these people to lay their heads at night.
Honestly, like you have seen it yourself, we are in a difficult situation. We don't know what to do, and we are not sure this town will escape this problem. It might submerge any moment from now. All we are asking is for government to help us.
At the moment, thousands of these people say they await for government intervention, even as their situation continues to deteriorate. Idris Jibrin, Trust TV News, Jigawa.
And no fewer than 14,496 farms were destroyed by flooding in 5 local government areas of Kano State. The Director General, National Emergency Management Agency, NEMA, Mustafa Habib, made the disclosure during an on-the-spot assessment tour of communities ravaged by flood in Warawa and Wuda local government areas of the state on Wednesday. Habib said the assessment report will be compiled and submitted to the Ministry of Humanitarian Affairs, Disaster Management and Social Development for onward submission to the President. He pointed out that the federal government will intervene in the matter as soon as possible, as it is an emergency that requires immediate intervention. The Executive Secretary of Kano State Emergency Management Agency, Dr. Saleh Jili, said the increase in floods was as a result of spillway from Tiga Dam. And 1 person is feared dead and several farmlands washed away in Maliki, a suburb of Zaria local government area, on Tuesday evening. This followed torrential rain that lasted several hours. The bridge, which is said to link more than 20 communities in the western part of Zaria, collapsed after it was submerged by water. The victim has been identified as one Alhaji Awalu. Meanwhile, youth in the area have since embarked on the reconstruction of the bridge through communal efforts, while appealing to local and state governments to hasten the reconstruction of the bridge to facilitate movement of people and goods across the area. And to politics now, where the leadership of the People's Democratic Party on Wednesday convened an emergency meeting following the withdrawal of the Governor Nyesom Wike of Rivers State, his Oyo State counterpart, Seyi Makinde, ex-Information Minister Professor Jerry Gana, and other prominent party chieftains from the party's Presidential Campaign Council. The party spokesman, Debo Olugmunagwa, said on Wednesday that the party had been meeting since Wike's camp announced its withdrawal from the Campaign Council, adding that the National Working Committee would announce its decision on Thursday. The Wike camp had announced its plan not to participate in the Campaign Council, which was scheduled for inauguration next Wednesday after a meeting at Wike's private residence in Port Harcourt, Rivers State, on Wednesday morning. It hinged its decision on the failure of the party's chairman, Iyorchia Ayu, to resign from office, insisting that the position must come to the South for balance, justice and equity. Meanwhile, presidential candidate of the People's Democratic Party and former Vice President Atiku Abubakar has reacted to the formal withdrawal of Rivers State Governor Nyesom Wike and his loyalists from the Presidential Campaign Council. Atiku Abubakar, in a statement he signed, said he was surprised at the decision, considering the fact that state chapters of the party submitted the names to be included in the party's Presidential Campaign Council. The PDP presidential candidate so said, though he did not know the reason behind Governor Wike's withdrawal from the Campaign Council, but demanding resignation of the national chairman, Iyorchia Ayu, is his prerogative, adding that as a committed Democrat and firm believer in the rule of law, he has absolute belief that everything that the party would do should be in the accordance with its constitution. Frank Shaibu is an aide to the PDP presidential candidate, and he speaks on the development.
Our chances in 2023 is going to be determined by the people of Nigeria. Nigerians are hungry. Nigerians are angry. You know, so the major it's not just about our party members. Our party members are just a set of people who already love us and who know us. You understand me? But you see, the major determinant of 2023 election is hunger and anger. So it's going to be a referendum in 2023. And that's why we believe very strongly, because for us, for our party members, we know that they'll show understanding. We know that we'll still have a peaceful resolution of what is happening. And they are still, like I said, they are still under the umbrella. So we will win. Atiku will be president in 2023.
And still talking politics, the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, has said former Governor of Kano State, Senator Ibrahim Shekaro, remains the senatorial candidate of the New Nigeria People's Party, NNPP. INEC's National Commissioner and Chairman, Information and Voter Education Committee, Festus Okoye, said the former governor remains the candidate of the NNPP for Kano Central Senatorial District, noting that July 15, 2022 was stipulated as the last day for withdrawal and replacement of National Assembly candidates, and Shekaro withdrew his candidature on the 26th day of August 2022. Shekaro, who defected to the People's Democratic Party from NNPP on August 29th, was on Tuesday listed as the candidate of the NNPP for Kano Central by INEC. Reacting, the Publicity Secretary of the NNPP in Kano, Abdullahi Ibrahim Rogo, said the party was not surprised that Shekaro's name appeared on its slot, adding, however, that it has started the process of correcting the anomaly. The Academic Staff Union of Universities says it will appeal the order given to it by the National Industrial Court to resume work immediately. The union specifically said it has already started assembling its lawyers, led by renowned human rights activist Femi Falana and a senior advocate of Nigeria, to file an appeal. Chairman of the union, Lagos Zone, Adeleja Odukoya, in a statement, urged members of the union to remain calm and united to fight till the end. The National Industrial Court, sitting in Abuja on Wednesday, ordered the striking university lecturers in the country to shelve their strike and return to the classrooms due to the importance of education in national development. ASUU embarked on strike on the 14th of February to press home its demands, ranging from acceptance of its payment platform, among others. Meanwhile, the National Association of Nigerian Students, NANS, has called on traditional leaders, some of whom are pro-chancellors of public universities in the country, to intervene in the lingering ASUU strike for the sake of students. The Students' Union said this during a press briefing at the Kaduna State Secretariat of the National Union of Journalists. Bello Musa now reports.
According to the Student Union, parties involved in the strike have not shown enough commitment to ending the strike, noting that this has made them lose an entire academic calendar.
We have effortlessly come to the conclusion that there is not enough commitment being demonstrated by the parties concerned to bring an immediate end to the lingering strike by ASUU. In the history of our nation, at this point, that ASUU and every well-meaning Nigerian is clamoring for the revitalization of the education sector. The voices of our traditional rulers have not been heard. And as such, we call on them to speak up, add their voices to these issues, because this is an issue of national development.
The Student Union also explained the reason behind suspension of its earlier street protest in Kaduna State.
However, due to several calls from well-meaning Nigerians and calls by the security agencies for consideration of the peculiarity of Kaduna with regards to the volatility of the security of the city, we have chosen to demonstrate the kind of gesture that we expect the negotiating parties, especially the federal government being the big brother, to exhibit in their meetings so far.
NANS had earlier announced plans to stage a protest at Goningora along Kaduna-Abuja Road, but Kaduna State government issued a statement advising citizens to desist from blocking the road and deploy heavily armed security to the area on Wednesday morning. Bello Musa, Trust TV News, Kaduna.
You're watching Trust TV News Update. And still ahead on the news. Celebrating peace in the midst of challenges. Details of this and more after the break. Please stay with us.
Trust TV, documenting the Nigerian story.
Welcome back, and thanks for staying with us on Trust TV News Update. Now let's recap our top stories. Farming communities relocate to safer places as floods wreak havoc. And People's Democratic Party calls emergency meeting over governors, others gang up. Now moving on to other news. A security guard, Suleiman Wizi, who worked at the New Market in Jos North local government area of Plateau State, has been murdered by suspected armed robbers in the market on Tuesday. The suspected robbers who killed Suleiman at his workplace also broke into 3 shops in the market to steal huge amounts of money. Trust TV had on Monday reported how market security guard Muhammad Kabiru, attached to Kaswa Deri, was killed. Ado Musa completes the story.
This is the second time in 3 days that market security guard will be murdered in 2 different markets in the state capital. On Sunday, Muhammad Kabir, attached to Kasuwar Dare, was slaughtered at his workplace, and 2 days after, Suleiman Wizi was reported also killed at his workplace, a situation that worries traders in the state. Sabo Bari, assistant chairman of the new market, who confirmed the incident, told Trust TV that he was called around 4 a.m. midnight and told one of the security guards working at the market was killed. When I saw 4 missed calls from the chairman of vigilante group of the area, I concluded that all was not well. When I called him back, he told me that a security guard attached to the market was killed. And on getting to the market, I saw the corpse of the deceased. They hit him severally with a hammer to death. It is worrisome. We have reported the case to police at C Division. We have woken up with sad news. They killed our fearless security guard and broke into my shop and stole money. I can't give the exact amount they have stolen. They also broke into the next shop and stole money. We can't ascertain how much was stolen in the incident. It is very unfortunate and worrisome. We have woken up with sad news. Armed robbers invaded our market, killed a security guard and broke into our shops. They stole our money. We pray Allah to bring an end to this menace. We also pray Allah to forgive the deceased. When contacted on the killing, the spokesperson of the State Police Command, DSP Alabo Alfred, did not respond to calls. The traders, however, hope that those who are perpetrating this evil act will be traced and be exposed. Ado Musa, Trust TV News, Jos.
The Vice Chairman of Kaduna Peace Commission, Salim Omale, has appealed to politicians to ensure that campaigns leading to the 2023 elections are devoid of violence in the state and the country at large. He said this at a symposium marking the 2022 International Day of Peace. The report.
International Peace Day is observed annually on September 21st. It is a day established in 1981 by a unanimous resolution of the United Nations. The day also provides a platform for humanity to commit to peace and contribute to build a culture of peace worldwide. At a symposium in Kaduna, stakeholders used the day to call on politicians to avoid anything that could cause violence during campaigns for the 2023 election.
I must appeal to political parties, candidates vying for elective positions, and other actors in the political processes to ensure peaceful campaigns and elections devoid of slander and violent confrontations.
Other clerics at the symposium harped on the need for all to teach and practice peace as enjoined by different religions.
The Bible says there is no Greek, no Jew, that we are all one. And if we are so one, it also talks about loving the enemy. Do unto others what you want others to do unto you.
To embrace diversity and our religious, our traditions, which is our consistency, as my colleagues have just said, the key important thing is that our faith as children of Abraham recognize diversity and see it as a blessing. Diversity is a blessing. Levels of our identity, whatever it is supposed to be a source of strength, not a threat to our existence.
A street walk was also part of the celebration of the 2022 International Day of Peace with the theme, End Racism, Build Peace. Bello Musa, Trust TV News, Kaduna.
And now to security matters, where the Nigeria Security and Civil Defense Corps in Katsina has trained 600 vigilantes to help in tackling the insecurity that's bedeviling the state. The training, which is sponsored by the Katsina State Government, is expected to complement other security organizations in the fight against banditry. Abdullahi Amadi reports that the 600 vigilantes strong corps brings the number to 1,100 so far trained by the government.
With these vigilantes trained, the government believes that the menace of terrorists will soon come to an end. Katsina government is pained by the terrorists' failure to embrace peace, despite all offers and efforts presented to that effect by the state actors.
Just last week, I signed a request to the State House of Assembly asking about 1.5 billion naira for security purposes. Just last week, the Assembly was gracious enough to approve, and inshallah by this week we are going to start implementation.
Out of the 600 battle-ready vigilante personnel, about 250 are women. But the question on lips of many is what the Vigilante Corps will do differently to bring about the much-needed peace to the people of Katsina State.
We will no longer sit down and be docile to allow people to be killed like animals. Even animals cannot be killed the way bandits are killing our people. The state government has done everything possible by offering dialogue, giving amnesty, a lot of incentives that people should come and embrace peace. But it has shown that the only language these people understood is that of confrontation.
Many stakeholders boasted that the commissioned Vigilante Corps are ready to confront the bandits to their enclaves and defeat them. Let me quickly say we are ready to die for our dear state to enjoy peace. As such, I'm asking all the perpetrators of insecurity to come back to their senses and embrace peace. In the next couple of days, all things being equal, insecurity will be history. Give us weapons, at least for protection, and leave us with the rest. The government is also promising to train about 2,000 vigilante corps put together before the expiration of its tenure in 2023. The objective is to complement the effort of other security operatives in combating the escalating insecurity bedeviling in Katsina State. Abdullahi Ismayamadi, Trust Television News, Katsina.
And now to the economy, where Nigerians will not be able to use their Naira debit cards for international transactions as scarcity of foreign exchange worsen in Africa's largest economy. Reports say some banks have already alerted their customers on the latest development, while others are keenly watching activities before implementing the policy owing to the scarcity of foreign exchange. This development is coming a few months after banks in the country reduced the monthly international spending limit on Naira cards to as low as $20. The daily international withdrawal limit has been around $100 for most banks until March, when banks cut international spending. And now for a look at the foreign scene, where Russia and Ukraine have carried out a surprise prisoner swap involving nearly 300 people, the largest since Moscow invasion began nearly 7 months ago. Those released include prisoners of war from countries including the United States, the United Kingdom and Morocco, some of whom had been sentenced to death after being captured in Ukraine and accused of being mercenaries. Russia also freed some 215 Ukrainians, including the 5 commanders who led a prolonged Ukrainian defense of the southern port city of Mariupol earlier this year. In exchange, Ukraine sent back 55 Russians and pro-Moscow Ukrainians and Viktor Medvedchuk, the leader of a banned pro-Russian party who was facing charges of treason. The deal, hammered out with the help of Saudi Arabia and Turkey, had been under preparation for some time and involved intense haggling. And that wraps up Trust TV News Update for this hour. For more news, you can subscribe and follow us across all our social media platforms. I am Ibrahim Yusuf. Thanks for watching.